Welcome. You have entered review time with Imperial. So we're going to review Sicario 2, The Day of the Soldado. Bravo! Bravo! Sicario 2 starring Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin. And Josh Brolin having a hell of a year. I mean, he played Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. Now he played this, man. I mean, Josh Brolin is doing his thing, man. He really doing his thing. Hats off to him, having a hell of a year. But when I say bravo, it's very few movies that when part 2 come out is better than part 1. I don't know if part 1 was a low budget or what it was, but the success of part 1, that it was just decent. I guess they might have had a bigger budget, better writers for part 2, but part 2 was way better, and I didn't know what to expect. But when I seen all the movie trailers for part 2 leading up to it, engaged me, intrigued me to go watch this movie. So I went, at that time when I seen the trailers, I went and watched part 1 so I know where I was at. So pretty much, if you've seen part 1, part 2 really is just, it really doesn't have anything to do with part 1. I mean, part 1, you just, Josh Brolin and his team came to, they were in part 2, with the exception of the girl and the black guy from part 1. And they're still doing missions in Mexico and stuff, places like that. Well, it starts off with immigrants trying to cross the border and illegally, and one of the border people were stopping the immigrants, and the immigrants set itself like a human bomb. It went from there. 3 people went in Kansas in the US, and they went into a store, and 3 people went throughout the store and set themselves up human bombs. So that's the scenario that it started up. So the government then, of course, not going to take to that, and they instantly declared war on terrorism. And they had the idea to start wars amongst the drug cartels and have them warring against each other while they slip in and do other stuff. So that was the plan. And the plan was to start war with one of the drug cartels. So Josh Brolin's character, Matt, he goes out and he go get his boy, which is Benicio del Toro. He's off in Colombia doing his own thing. He goes and recruits him and tell him basically, I'm going to unleash you here, and you can go free reign, do your thing. And so he with it because he want payback on Carlos Reyes, which is the head Mexican cartel guy who has something to do with his family being killed. Now, he was an attorney, and the cartel had his family being killed. Now, they never show this in part 1. You just hear about the story when he talks about it. And at the end of part 1, he got to kill one of the guys, and he killed that guy's family. So, I can see them probably doing a prequel or something like that, or doing something where they give flashbacks to his previous, like, to find out really what happened during that time or whatever. Because they keep talking about it, but no one never really knows what happened. So, from there, their idea was to kidnap Carlos Reyes, the cartel boss, his youngest kid, which was a girl. So they kidnap her, and of course you've probably seen in the trailers where it shows her shows him, Del Toro, with her in the car. So that's the plot. Meanwhile, in the process, they were going to kidnap her. They picked the mask over her head, so she really doesn't know who kidnapped her. But then they storm in and act like they saved her from her kidnappers, when really it was them the whole time. But in the process, their plan was to bring her back into Mexico, give her to the federales, and let them do the transport back to Reyes. In the process of transporting her back, the dirty police knew about her transport, or they knew about something, but they had information, and they set fire. They went off on a dirt road, and they set target on the U.S. that was taking Isabel Reyes, which is the little girl's name. They ambushed them. So in the process of that, it's a war and a shootout, and she pretty much, she gets out the car and she dips, she runs. And after the U.S. tamed the situation, they was like, where is she at? And they pretty much was like, all right, we'll let her go. Del Toro, he sought out after her, said, nah, I get her. So Matt, Josh Brolin's character, told him, he gave him a chip to basically tell him, hey man, if something happened, just target this chip and alert me where you are. So from there, pretty much, the U.S. government pretty much said, yo, mission is aboard. Y'all had a shootout with the Mexican police. We didn't, that y'all was supposed to be discreet, and mission abort. Meanwhile, they saying, nah, we still got the girl. They like pretty much do away with the girl, because if she start talking, we gonna have a problem. So now, Matt finally talks to Del Toro character and say, hey, pretty much like, yo, they shut this thing down and they need to do away with her. He like, nah, we can't do that, because he start getting a soft spot for her. Like, nah, we can't do that, just let me get her across the board. He like, nah, I can't help you with that. So Del Toro character pretty much like, all right, well, I handle it myself pretty much. So you can see the friction, tension on that. So meanwhile, they telling Matt and his team they need to clear this whole situation or whatever. So from there, you got another little kid in a whole nother story. He's struggling in Mexico with his family, and he want to make more money. He got an older cousin that's helping illegal immigrants get across the border, charging them money, and that's his hustle. So he pretty much from there, he gets his little cousin involved. In the process of getting his little cousin involved, his little cousin runs into, earlier in the film, he's seen Del Toro character and Matt in a car. And pretty much if you're a moviegoer, you knew when he seen them in that car where he was at, that eventually later in the film he was gonna remember. Hey, they cops. I remember seeing them. So that's what ended up basically taking place. And you know, I didn't already talk so much about this film. It was a good film. I leave the rest up to you. There's no post-credit scenes. Definitely good film. Go see it. It's worth it. See part 1 if you want to, but you really don't have to see part 1 because part 1 and part 2 don't really have nothing to do with each other, not too much. And on top of that, my 4-star rating system, I'm gonna give this one. Can I see any flaws? Nah, damn good film. 4 out of 4. I'm gonna give this 4 out of 4 stars. It was on point. That's what I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna stick to it. 4 out of 4 stars. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe and like. Share the video. Tune into the next review, whatever it's gonna be. Trying to build a channel. Stay tuned.